I found out there was going to be a women's Royal Rumble match too. Brian, why didn't you tell me they were going to have a women's Royal Rumble match?
I just assumed you knew. They did one last year, like I said.
Did we do this last year? I don't know.
I don't think we did. I think you actually didn't watch the pay-per-view event last year.
Let me just say this. Can you imagine? I know now that Vince McMahon has lost his freaking mind. Because can you imagine if I was sitting down at Vince's living room or dining room table there on our Wednesday writing sessions coming up on, listen, the Royal Rumble 97 in the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, or Royal Rumble 96, wherever that may have been, or whatever the fuck. And I said, Vince, right before we have 30 of our top guys, except for whoever's fighting for the world championship, have a Royal Rumble match that Pat Patterson's going to put together and make a genius piece of work out of. Why don't we find 30 girls, put them in the ring, let them do every battle royal spot and tease of elimination and everything before the guys do, and let it last an hour. And then let the guy, what do you think he would have said? He wouldn't even have spoken to me. He would have just picked up a fucking stick and just started smacking me in the fucking head with it. Are you fucking kidding? So I decided I will see where Rhea Ripley and Charlotte come into this thing. So because already now, bear in mind.
Oh, come on. At least the Royal Rumble concept is fun. You could have watched the whole thing.
No, I watched enough of it. I'm going to talk about some of it that I watched. I couldn't have watched the rest of the show if I'd have watched all of this, because I already had to watch a battle royal full of semi-over mid-card people fucking doing contrived spots that are over their head and too fancy, punctuated by long moments of boredom. I didn't need to see the girls do it worse. It was 13 minutes into the show before they rang the bell for the fucking world title, one of the world title matches. Then they gave us one of the girls' title matches. Then they gave us Bugs Bunny. And now a women's Royal Rumble.
Did each one of those things get its own page?
A lot of shit I was writing here, I skipped over. Rhea Ripley comes in at 14, comes down looking like a star, gets in, makes us a so-so impact, which we're going to talk about in the men's Rumble also. They've lost the plot on the big entrance and the big impact, but also then Charlotte came right after. I'm thinking, okay, they're midways. They're going to do the right thing. They're going to fucking, one of these girls is hopefully going to win and they're going to eliminate the other one to do it. After the Charlotte and Ripley's initial flurries, it went back to a bunch of girls doing contrived setup spots in an awkward way. And no exclamation point could reinforce that better than number 16, Dana Brooke, who came in and fucking climbed up to the top rope like she was on Mount Everest on an electric fence and just fucking dove off onto a bunch of people who caught her and fell over and then did it again, and I just can't do it. So I zipped forward some more. And then I thought, what the fuck is Mabel? Because I'm on 3 times speed, right? I said, Mabel's in the women's Rumble. I slowed down. No, it was Nia Jax. She just looked like Mabel next to everybody else at 3 times the speed, but Nia Jax and Tamina.
Nia Jax.
Either one of them may have had what appeared to me to be the worst play fight in wrestling history in the middle of the ring. And that's where the announcers were screaming for a title opportunity again. There were a number of women in this match that I would have been happy to watch in a match against each other, a match, but not 30 of them all at the same time when the guys aren't going to be able to carry this off. And they didn't for an hour.
Based on when you say you started paying attention, did you miss the surprise entrance?
Of who?
Victoria was in the Royal Rumble.
Right. As a matter of fact, Victoria, who I would have been happy to watch against several of the girls in this contest in an actual match, was just, I think, eliminated when I saw Charlotte and Ripley come in.
The other big surprise, I don't know about big surprise, the other surprise amongst OVW alumni, Jillian Hall.
I admit completely. If I'd have known Jillian was in there, I would have looked for her somewhere, but I didn't know she was in there at all. Because there was a lot of people in there that shouldn't have been in there. So finally, we got down to 3 individuals. Rhea Ripley, Charlotte, and Bianca Belair. I'm saying, okay, at least they're going to go in the right direction here, one way or the other. It's either going to be Charlotte or it's going to be Ripley. And business picked up there because they had some passion. They threw some potatoes. They had some fire. And then they dumped Bianca over to the side. And here goes Charlotte and Ripley. And for about a minute, and it, truthfully, after seeing that WrestleMania match, it was kind of a letdown because by now they've been in there. They've done all that other shit. That's why I'm saying I'd rather just seen these two have a fucking match, which is what I was interested in to begin with, instead of having all this direct beforehand. But they get about a minute to do and then Bianca helps Ripley dump Charlotte, and then they do a contrived, we almost dumped each other, but they overacted the dangling legs and agreed to let each other in. And then they reversed and countered everything to the point where it got really too much and past sloppy. And then Bianca Belair clotheslines Ripley over the top. And she wins. What the fuck?
There's nothing wrong with her winning.
I wouldn't have watched it if I'd have known this, though.
Why?
Because the only reason that I was interested is to see whether Ripley was going to win or Charlotte was going to win, because somebody at some point has to realize they've got a bunch of girls and a bunch of guys and they need some stars.
I completely agree. And I think I had 2 people I thought could win this Royal Rumble. Rhea Ripley or Bianca Belair. For the same reason I like Bianca Belair when we saw her in NXT. I think she has big potential as a star.
Hey, boy, that could have gone any number of ways.
I think she has a lot of potential. And I thought it was either her or Rhea Ripley tied for who I thought should have won this. So when they ended up being the last 2, I was like, holy shit, I booked something right. And I have no problem with her winning. I thought her promo afterwards was really, it was the way a real athlete would react to something like this. She was emotional. She was happy. I think this was the right decision. It had to be Rhea Ripley or Bianca Belair. It couldn't have been another one it couldn't have been Charlotte again. It couldn't have been someone else who's been there for a while. This is a way to elevate someone. Rhea Ripley comes out of it looking good because you got to figure she's now on the main roster and she was one of the last 2. So you have a natural thing you could do with her and Bianca Belair. You could go with her and Charlotte again. And Bianca Belair comes out of this elevated. I think it was good the way they did the ending. Other than the contrived part, I agree with you on that. But I got no problems with Bianca Belair winning.
I'm completely captivated.
Boy, is her hair long.
Yeah. That's just that she's short.
No, I mean, she's completely...
Her legs barely reach the ground.
What?
Think about that. All right, next up, we're not done with Bugs Bunny yet, because now Frogface and Morrison are knocking on Bunny's door. And they want to collaborate with Bugs. I'm sure the record would be, we killed the Wabbit, we killed the Wabbit, we killed the Wabbit, and now he's dead. They act like this guy is fucking Mick Jagger. They're fawning all over him. Even when there were stars on the program in the past that interacted with guys that were supposed to be star wrestlers, did they fawn that much? Wasn't that the manager's job to fawn?
Well, wrestlers are not stars anymore. They're goofy idiots who are just happy to be around any actual celebrities.
Well, they acted like this guy was Mick Jagger, and then Frogface started knocking Booker, but Booker showed up behind him and scared him off. And the fake fans loved it. Because that's another thing. Now that they've got their hand on that crowd noise button, they're just turning it up on everything. It's like the worst example of a laugh track on a sitcom that's not funny. And if there was actually, God damn it, where did I see this? They did a thing where they played the same clip from a sitcom with the laugh track and without the laugh track, and without the laugh track, it was just fucking dead. Anyway, that was followed up. Oh, did you have any comments on Bugs's interaction with Morrison and Frogface?
No, I know Morrison has in the past showed some. It's not even potential anymore. He's been around forever. He's shown ability. Miz sucks.
I love Johnny. I wish he was in anything that I could actually tolerate watching.
Every now and then, it's happened a few times over the past 15 years. I'll go, the Miz isn't that bad. He's all right as a heel. I mean, I want to kick his ass. He's all right as a heel.
And you could.
And then he gets all goofy again. He's just so silly. I'm sick of adults acting like children, and there's way too much of that in WWE. Almost every single backstage segment or interview is a wrestler either acting like a child or talking in a way that no actual human being talks in, so you can't relate with them. Garbage. I didn't need to see this, and no one else did either.
Well, actually, you just stole my description of the next segment. I didn't need to see it, and nobody else did either, because they had the announce crew from their pregame show on, which was JBL. Who's the girl that got broke in on by the stalker?
Sonya Deville. She's out there. Somebody else, and a DJ. What was his name? Peter Rosenberg. That's right.
He's one of the announcers on the pregame show, and here comes Ron Killings, acting, as you mentioned, like no human being ever acts. And he said, hey, look, John Cena's over there. And then he nutshot, the DJ, the radio DJ, nutshots Ron Killings, who has the joke comedy belt they have over his shoulder, and pins him on the fucking concrete, and a referee just pops up, because I guess that's the gimmick of this stupidity. And now the DJ is the 24/7 champion. And the reason why this was my favorite segment on the program was because Bradshaw then turned around and said, this may be the worst event in wrestling history. And then he realized when he'd said it out loud, he said, for old Peter there to be the 24/7 champion. That's a lot of truth to tell on a fucking program when you're getting paid to be there.
I was watching that on mute. And after Pete Rosenberg pinned R-Truth, they went back to the table, and you just see Bradshaw looking off, and the look on his face was priceless. And I'm no fan of Bradshaw, but man, he had the perfect look on his face, like, oh my God.
So you had it on mute? You didn't hear the line?
I didn't hear the line, no.
He actually said, this is a quote, this may be the worst event in wrestling history. Say what you want about Bradshaw, he always tells the truth.